Today we're talking about Call Sumo, an artificially intelligent marketing optimization and human interaction software. Don't worry, it's not that complex. We'll get into it. So what Call Sumo does is helps track the effectiveness of marketing. So let's first look at a case study that we saw. So this is for digital advertising in 1 month, and just on one campaign that a practice was running. And of course, everyone wants to know how many impressions, how many clicks, and how many calls does this generate. And what we saw is that in this month, 49 calls were created, 15 existing patients, 15 hangups, 8 bad inquiries. They had the wrong insurance, should have probably been using some negative keywords there, 7 office matters, 4 wrong numbers, resulting in not a single patient. And by any other metric, you could say this could be successful if you're looking at how many calls or how many impressions or how many clicks. But ultimately, with marketing, nothing counts until there's a new patient acquired. Until there's a new patient with their mouth and wallet open, none of the results matter. So, how many calls and all these things can help guide you, but it's really important to understand quality versus quantity. So, understanding exactly what happens along that full customer journey, with the way that we're able to track both online and offline efforts, we don't have to have you ask the customer how they heard about you or how they found you anymore. Most of the time, customers misrepresent and misreport anyways. So, with this, it closes the loop and has that understanding of exactly where people are coming from and the impact. If we looked at that and just saw, oh, we got 49 calls on this one campaign, is that a good result? Some may argue that it is, but ultimately, until there's a paying customer, it doesn't matter. Your goal is to get customers, not phone calls. It's also important to understand exactly which effort is leading to a call and then how they convert. It's important for us to see the impact of how many existing patients are calling you, miscellaneous calls, and help you filter that, but really understand how many good leads that marketing is generating. Once you understand that, you can optimize that significantly. And without that, how do you really find those growth points? How do you find those pockets of marketing that's very efficient, online or offline, and understand the impact of how marketing interacts with new patients and shares? Again, impressions, clicks, phone calls, irrelevant. You want the one that most effectively puts a patient in a chair. So here's another case study for, okay, let's look at higher volume of calls. So for this practice in a month, they had 948 calls. And of that, we helped them filter to understand that 308 of those were leads, meaning they weren't existing patients, they're not labs calling. Those are high quality leads generated based on our artificial intelligence. And what we found was 198 of those leads went straight to voicemail. So there's money ringing on the line and nobody's answering. So that's 64% of the leads went unanswered. That's unheard of and absolutely terrible. But that's important to understand. And we actually do see that across quite a few practices. And then looking at the final results, those patients and shares. This resulted in 110 new patients. That might be good for a month, but again, less than 12% of those calls became patients. So it's really important to understand as you're putting in that money. And then also your sales training. Why are you missing calls during business hours? Are they actually happening, 30 minutes before you open? Is your after hours procedure not working? Or are people just not able to understand the quality of the phone call on the other line? Do they need help understanding that that call coming in is a new lead? And that's something that we can help you do. And really, with call handling, it overall hinders the success of marketing if you're missing calls and not converting. And this can be a factor of ineffective training or just not being able to queue those calls appropriately. And so, what we do is we're able to help you see missed opportunities, understand the impact of those, as well as help you train to convert better. Um, and then also look at what actually resulted from those phone calls. So again, someone's calling from marketing. Is it a good lead? That's determined. And then did they come in as a paying customer for that visit? That's also how we close the loop. And it's really important to also know that we score and can grade calls as well with quite a few techniques, both technical and human, mostly technical, as we use a lot of artificial intelligence, transcription technology, and etc. to help better improve those processes and understand what's happening on those phone calls. So, again, quality versus quantity, and understand the quality of those calls and hope that it's handled with quality every single time. Uh, the added value of Call Sumo is that we also help to improve teamwork. So, helping to understand exactly what is going on. So, for marketing, always kind of gets the brunt of it when there is new efforts being run. And because of that, it's important to understand what's being spent in marketing. But again, what are those exact results? Not the number of calls, not the number of impressions, but the exact number of patients generated from that. So, with that, the marketing team is better able to see the impact of their efforts, not just phone calls, but those paying patients. For operations, having that queuing and understanding what's actually going on those phone calls, they can better discern that this is a phone call that needs attention coming in and how to better handle that and how to better train. They actually understand that they're part of this process and that these new leads coming in, marketing put in effort to generate them. So let's handle them effectively. And for the executive team, Callsumo gives you such a complete view of bottlenecks, where you should spend more in marketing, or maybe where you should spend less and optimize that, how to best move forward, and where your real bottlenecks are between marketing and operations. With that insight, you're definitely going to better impact your ROI. So it's important to note that if you're generating the wrong calls, you're missing calls, and you're not converting them, all of those things lead to your profits. Those are three areas that you're just wasting money if they're not effectively managed and have that understanding. So, with that, it's really important to make sure that you're tracking your efforts online and off to better measure them, the impact of those channels that are bringing in those funnel of new patients, hopefully, and then to analyze how do you improve your marketing, your conversions, and lower your CPA. And then to best optimize, make that marketing work for every dollar you put in. Make sure that your training's on point, that your operations understands the value of what they're doing, and really have that technology work to best serve your organization. And the results of Call Sumo. So, over all of the practices and organizations of all sizes that we work with, we see the leads and new patients go up. The reason for that is marketing's insight to understanding the impact of what they're doing, that people are actually resulting in chairs, and for call handlers to understand that there's good leads on the line, have that smiling voice on, and work to convert them. And then understanding those areas of improvement very clearly and very quickly, and understand the impact of every single call, both on marketing and for operations. And overall, improving your ROI, because that's really the bottom line here. And so we see that average practices that use CallSumo see a significant increase in their production in year one, just with understanding where those bottlenecks are and how to best improve. And we see with CallSumo, it's really the only organization that helps you close that loop between marketing to call handling and that increased ROI. Thank you.